Online for Authors. I'm chatting with Shane Vigeant about marketing with AI in mind. Welcome, Shane.
Hey, yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, Terry.
Really excited to have you here. Before we really dive in, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and why you're the person to chat with us about this topic?
Yeah, my name's Shane Vigeant. I work in the publishing industry for a company called Book Launchers. It's a full service agency that helps authors self-publish, write, promote, and share their new book with the world. And we primarily work with nonfiction authors. And me myself, I build online platforms that allow authors to sell their books online. I help connect readers to their authors, no matter how many books you have. And I help them build platforms online, help them connect with people through websites, through social media, through email newsletters, all of those tech pieces that come together to link those different groups. So I build all of those pieces, and then I strategize with authors to make all that happen, because you can only know so many people to promote your book to, your friends, your
Absolutely.
family. Once you've exhausted that list, you got to go find people on the internet, and because that's where everybody is. So I
Right.
build
And
all the pieces to find them.
yeah, and that's not an easy proposition for most authors. It's like we say, okay,
Yeah.
we've got a book and they will come, but that isn't quite the way it works because there are millions of books out there. And
Oh yeah.
how do you get people to find you? And so,
Hmm.
right. Um, One of the things that we talked about before we decided to have this conversation today was, the idea of AI and how you have to keep AI in mind when you're doing your marketing. I want you to explain the why behind that. I know a lot of authors are kind of like, I don't like AI, I don't want to talk about AI, and I want nothing to do with AI. And yet
Yeah.
AI is here. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so understandably, as an author, if you don't want to be competing with people writing AI books, and it may sound like a scary topic, but really you can use it as a tool, and I mean, it's definitely not going away. AI is here to stay. Like, companies are investing billions of dollars into it. There are new books being published every day, unfortunately, written with AI, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually, when it comes to writing, it's not a bad idea to, start fleshing out the idea of your book with AI and start building it, and then add the human element into it, rather than the other way around. Rather than you put in all your thoughts down on paper and then you plug it into AI, and then AI takes all the emotion out of it. It takes all of the humanness out of that manuscript. So it's really just, the best way to look at it is it's a tool to help you get words on a page faster and probably more efficiently, because you start off with a better, a better base. But when it comes to marketing and getting your book out there, people are now using ChatGPT and Claude and Google AI to find authors. It's not just people are still searching this, best self-development book of 2026, or, best leadership books, best money management books, like that kind of thing. That kind of search is going out the window a little bit, because now you're able to converse with the search engine. Maybe that's your first question, is best self-help books of this. And then it recommends, the best sellers. But then you're like, okay, well, I live in a competitive, area of the country. Like, I live in the, Silicon Valley in California, and I'm a founder of like this type of company, and these are my type of clients. What is a book that's better for me there? Then it condenses all that information, and then it'll give you a more personalized recommendation. So, I mean, this isn't a secret. Everybody knows like kind of how these AI tools are working. But as an author, as a self-published author, as you're trying to get your book out there into the world, how do you get recommended?
Yeah.
How are you the person? How are you the author who that the AI is recommending? And you do that by building a platform, by having a website that describes who your book is for, maybe the key points of your book, who it is that you're trying to target, like, and speak directly to those ideal readers. So website is one piece, then you have social media, and then, you have an online newsletter, a Substack, all those different pieces. But essentially you need to give information about yourself out there into the world so that AI can find it and recommend you to the right people. Hopefully that I didn't make you lost in all of that.
No. I think that makes a lot of sense. And so let's dive just a little bit and talk about some of these digital strategies that an author needs to create an online platform that AI is going to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would say most authors that I know have a website, and I'm sure most have at least some social media, but it doesn't mean that AI is paying attention to it. So talk us kind of through some of that portion of that.
So, everybody knows website is pretty standard and you need to have it to get it out there, but it's not just like a set it and forget it thing. You really want to focus on the quality of content that you're putting out there. And if you don't have a website already, you can build one very easily using AI tools like Lovable or like Replit or Base 44. I'm just kind of listing all these different tools. Like, you don't have to be a WordPress developer anymore. You don't have to know technical pieces to go and build all of those things. But if you have a website and it's not getting traffic and you're not really seeing any results from it, the best thing that you can do is, start promoting it on social media to drive traffic there. Like, just by having a website doesn't mean that people are going to show up to it. You actually need to go get those people and drag them there. And then once you have traffic being driven to your site, once you can see people visiting from it, from Facebook, from Instagram, from LinkedIn, wherever, what have you, you can then kind of make decisions based on, okay, what are people doing when they get to my website? Are they buying my book? Are they subscribing to my newsletter? Are they doing nothing? What am I telling them to do? So you kind of have to look at it through that lens. Like, there's a lot of pieces that you can update and upgrade, but it's really, you don't know until you test and you figure out what's going to work for you.
Okay. All right. So that talks a little bit about the website. Social media, to me, is an enigma. Like, I put things out on social media every day. I have something, at least one thing every day, sometimes two, sometimes even three, depending on what's going on in any given day.
That's great.
And I have quite a few followers, but I don't see anything happening from it.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's like I'm doing a lot of work, but I don't feel like I don't know what I'm supposed to be expecting back.
Yeah.
And I want to see sales. That's what ultimately. And I understand that isn't necessarily the first thing that you'll see, but I don't feel like I see much of anything. So what? Help!
It's super common. And social media it can be tricky and it can be exhaustive, and it's like it's daunting to somebody who hasn't started, right?
Right.
But if for someone like you who has been posting often, what I would do first is I would take a look at posts that you have done that have performed well and dissect why did they perform well? Like, what about it actually drove sales for your book or drove views on the platform? And then try and replicate that a little bit more. But when it comes to posting on social media or even just like getting started on it, one great tidbit of advice I heard recently is that when you create a video or a carousel or something, just focus on helping one person do one thing. Don't say, hey, everybody, or, try to speak to a big audience at once, expecting everybody to see that video, because maybe only 100, 200 people will scroll past it for 2 seconds. So focus on helping one person do one thing. And marketing is all really just building relationships with people. So if you're just real with them and you actually look at it in the way of, I'm just helping this one person do this one thing, that will come through in your content creation. That will make it feel more personal, and people resonate with your personality, with your authenticity, like who you actually are. So that's what I would focus on doing. And then if you are somebody like you who posts frequently every single day, nothing's happening, nobody's driving sales, I would suggest taking a look at like what call to actions you're using. Like, are you just saying, go to my website and check out my book? Are you saying go to Amazon? Maybe the book sale is too much right in the beginning. Maybe you should just try and get them on your email list first, and then sell them through your to your book through your email list. Okay. So in other words, give them a video series, give them a free PDF download, give them like a self-assessment quiz that they can take. Something people are always asking, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? Especially if they don't know you already and trust you and like you, like you have to kind of establish that in the beginning and show them, why they should stop and watch your video, why they should click through to your website and then subscribe. Like, you can curate that experience for them, make it a really positive one. And then that is, essentially drives book sales and can lead to other opportunities as well.
Now, I heard someone tell me one time, I don't know if this is a true statement or not, that most people, like for instance, on Instagram, that most people don't buy from Instagram. So they're not going to click a link that takes them to someplace where they're going to purchase while on Instagram. So on Instagram, it is more of they get to know who you are. They start to recognize your name, et cetera. Do you find that to be true? Is that a true statement that people are not clicking through from certain social media to buy? Or is that not a true statement?
Yes and no. People do buy from Instagram every single day, all the time. And it is actually an amazing platform, especially Instagram and TikTok, for impulsive purchases, Okay. But like those impulsive purchases come from multiple instances of maybe seeing that thing. Okay. And in today's world, you need to be exposed to a marketing message or a book, in our instance, typically 8 to 12 times before it even like registers with somebody, because we're just getting an overload of information every single day. One example I like to use is when your favorite fast food, I like food, so I like using this as an example, but your favorite fast food restaurant or chain has an app, Chipotle, Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, anything like that. Like, they have an app. How many times do you think they told you to go download that app before you actually did? Like, how many times have you gone into that same restaurant multiple times and the cashier told you saw posters on the wall, you get advertisements on your TV? Like, there's a reason why they put so much marketing out there, is because you need to be exposed to that message a bunch of different times before they trust what it is that they're actually going to buy. So to answer your question, there are sales coming from these platforms, but you're just constantly being reminded over and over again. So going back to my help one person do one thing every single day, that consistency compounds over time. So when people are seeing you on their feed after a while, then when you introduce, hey, I have a book, and hey, I have an online course, hey, I do speaking, stuff like that, like all of that kind of comes together and they already know you and are exposed to your messaging.
That sounds really good. So we've talked some about then the website, and then we've talked about social media. What other aspects of an online platform?
A newsletter, absolutely. Yeah. The website is newsletters, kind of what ties it all together. Websites, is the place that people go to. Social media is where people find you, and the newsletter is how you build a relationship with people. Right. It's not just numbers on a screen. You can get their name, their email, their birthday, and at the very least, and you can curate messages for these people and see if they're interacting with them. So if they find you on social media, go to your website and subscribe to your newsletter, they now have upgraded from just another viewer on your channel and a follower just to see something come across their timeline, to somebody who's actually receiving messages from you into their email inbox. And that is way more of an intimate relationship than just social media, because there's so many other people promoting on there. But if you are in their inbox, you are able to create that relationship. You can see if they are opening your emails and if they are clicking through to your book and the other things that you're working on. So that would be the next step. And I'm seeing right now a lot of interest in like Substack newsletters.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have Substack, do you?
So I have a Substack account, but I had already created a newsletter that's very vibrant and working, and I'm very hesitant. I'm old, okay? I'm 62. and it's like I finally figured out what I was doing. I use Kit. So it used to be ConvertKit, but I use Kit.
Yeah.
And I know how to use it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we've all moved to Substack. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I know how to so the answer is yes, I created an account, and no, I've done absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah. Okay. That's normal. You're not alone in that. It's a lot of work, but especially for like authors in general, you wrote this long form piece of content, packaged it into a book, and now you're selling it. Like email newsletters are that long form content, but you can now deliver it into people's inboxes. And I bring up Substack because it's an online platform. It's like a social media for newsletters.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Right.
I'm not like a partner or affiliate. I'm not getting paid by saying this, but I am a big partner for Kit. I set my clients up with Kit all the time. I think it's like the best email marketing platform out there. Having a newsletter that people can subscribe to and come back to, and that is piece number 3 of like what we're talking about right now: website, social media, newsletter. These are like the bare minimum things I would recommend setting up for an author. Like whether you're fiction, nonfiction, no matter what your niche is, I definitely recommend putting these pieces together if you don't have one already.
And when it comes to a newsletter, what are people expecting, and how often are they expecting it?
That's a good question. It varies. I mean, depending on the niche and depending on you as a person, like how often you actually want to, send newsletters out there. Typically, I'm subscribed to a bunch of newsletters, and I will check them once a week max. Okay. And that's just me. I don't know. There may be some other people listening, or you yourself, who checks them more often. But they do kind of get piled up in the inbox. So, it's something I just do like weekly reading. I wouldn't like inundate your subscribers with messages too often. I think once every 2 weeks, maybe twice a month, is a really good cadence, because that's more consistency and you are showing up in their inbox. And, if you're sticking to the other plan, you're showing up in the social media feeds as well. Right. And again, that brings us back to like being exposed to that messaging multiple times, because then when you have a promo and you say, hey, my book's for sale for 99 cents, you can go and generate more sales. Right. Not that you want to sell books for 99 cents, but.
People say, no, you don't want to, but I don't mind, because if I'm selling the book for 99 cents and it gets into the hands of people who weren't going to buy it at another price,
of course.
they've now read it. Maybe a few of them will review it. Maybe a few of them will pass it on to someone else who will buy it at full price. I don't know. I have a different philosophy than a lot of authors, which is get it in the hands of people.
Oh yeah. I mean, you get a chance for a review. You get a chance, like that's anybody who loves it, and they can share it with a friend. Yeah. And you can make an impact on somebody. That's what books do.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of quality time with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the twice a month, that made me smile, because that's what I do. And it's like, oh, good. So maybe I'm doing something right. I feel like this is interesting. When I wrote my first book, I didn't know I was supposed to market. I knew nothing. I was, one of those that, I wrote it and now I waited and nobody bought it and I didn't know why. And so then I said, okay, well, I got to figure out marketing real fast. And one of the things that I listened to a podcast that only had just a very limited number of episodes, but it was about book marketing. And one of the things was capture their email. If you can capture their email, then you can keep marketing to them. So one of the first things I did was created my newsletter, and it had 2 people, my mother and my daughter. But but I created it. It was there.
Yeah.
And then I started adding people to it. And as of my last email that went out, I have now 1,800 subscribers, and that's in the last 4 years. So I feel like
Amazing.
that's great. And I do think that I see things happening with it. I think one of the hardest things for me is to be able to measure what is working. Like, you put out the website and you put out the newsletter and you're doing your social media. What is working? Is it all working together and you can't tease them apart? Like it's difficult for me to know. Like if I were to stop doing social media altogether, would I notice?
Do you have a steady? Yeah, I guess that is. Yeah, it's a good question. And how do you know it's working?
Yeah.
It's like it kind of stems from what is it that you want it to do? I mean, you want it to sell books, right? In my world with the nonfiction authors, like
Right.
they like a lot of them want to become a keynote speaker. A lot of them want to get leads for their business or like other things. But if your goal is just to sell books, then what I would pay attention to is open rates on your emails, like how many people are actually opening them and clicking inside of those emails. So you intentionally put, links to go and buy your book from there.
Right.
So you can track the traffic actually. So you can track, how many people are opening it and then clicking. And that's what I would do with 1,800 subscribers. That's something you can monitor over time, and you can see, are your subject lines hitting? Or is the content inside of the email, like are people resonating with it? Are they reading it, or are they just opening it and then ghosting and nothing's happening?
Okay.
That's what I would do.
What would be a good open rate, percentage-wise?
40% or higher.
Okay, awesome. And then what about click-through rate? What's a good click?
Click-through rate, this generally, I mean, higher than like 15% or something.
Okay.
If you have like the 40%, I'd say that's a good range. Because not everybody will click, but if you get, a good amount of them, I'd say that's pretty good.
Okay. All right. Those are good things to know. What are some pitfalls that you see authors falling into when it comes to like online platform things? What are some things like we really should avoid doing?
Buying followers or subscribers, probably. Starting out with cold traffic. If you have a massive list of emails from your work or you bought them or something, you technically can't just like email them. You have to ask them if they want to opt in first. So be wary of that. You can't just like directly solicit emails there unless they previously opted in. Like making sure your website and your newsletter and your social media is perfect before actually promoting it. Like just get something simple out there and then share and send the word. It can just be a 1-page website. Just subscribe to my newsletter or I have a book coming out, or here's my list of books, just get it out there and monitor, the traffic, like post on social media and see like, are people interested, and then kind of, you can test and iterate from there, but just get something up and don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because people, they resonate with a person more, a face on the screen rather than, images and text and that kind of stuff. So, I'd say those are the 3 that I'd focus on.
Yeah. Fantastic. What do you have like any like parting tips, like beyond those 3 things, the newsletter, the website, the social media? If someone says, okay, I kind of have those under control, I feel like I know what I'm doing there, where do they go next? Where's that next leap?
Without complicating it too much, I don't want to like direct you to a bunch of tools and stuff to get you because you can easily go down a rabbit hole with all this, all the things that you could do to market your book.
And that's the thing. Like one of the things that I tell people is like, you can buy books that say, 1,001 ways to market, And my thought is, oh gosh, don't buy that, because that's like 997 ways you're never going to do.
Yeah.
Right. So So, given that we don't want that, if there was like one or two other things that you say really would complement like next steps.
Yeah, I did think of something. So that, like, kind of what you said, the 1,001 things
Yeah.
to do to promote your book. That is like the general, I guess, what people promote out there. Like, hey, you could be doing all these different things. Here's all the things that you could be doing. That's not realistic in
No,
practice at
no,
all.
no.
So what I would part with, my parting advice going on here is focus on what you're interested in. If you like creating videos and posting on social media, focus on that. If you like writing newsletters, focus on that. If you like doing blogs, do that for a little bit and get really good at it and immerse yourself in that one thing. You will get to all of these other 1,001 things. Just focus on what you like, and don't overburden yourself. Don't burn yourself out, because you'll get tired of it after a while. If you're doing things you don't want to do, it's just going to make you exhausted, and then you're not going to continue doing those things. And then what good does that do?
Right.
If you stop promoting your book, then nobody's going to find you. So just focus on what it is you like doing and like spending time on, and then everything else will fall into place as you immerse yourself in something.
Fantastic. How can someone get up with you, Shane, if they say, I love what I heard here today, but I need more help than that? How can they reach out? How can they reach out to you and learn about what you might be able to do for them through your company?
So I would just check out booklaunchers.com. We have an online community of 900 authors. We have a book marketing software called Author Launch Kit that will show you everything that you could be doing to promote your book. And then if you want a full white glove service to writing, publishing, and promoting your book, it's all there as well. Okay. So we have multiple different ways to work with us, but check us out. We work with nonfiction authors over at booklaunchers.com.
Fantastic. Well, Shane, I want to thank you so much for being with me today. You have been really helpful and very free with your information, which I love, to talk with someone who's willing to just like put it out there instead of holding it all back and saying, well, if you hire me, then you can find out. So it was really beneficial, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Terry. This was fun.
Thank you for listening to Online for Authors, where I, Terry M. Brown, author of character-driven fiction and host of the podcast, introduce readers to characters they'd love to invite to lunch. Tune in next Tuesday for another podcast episode.